Welcome everyone, Farmer Cop here. This is going to be a guide to the Cooper factory in Farming Simulator 25. This video is going to cover all platforms and is base game stuff as well. So whether you're playing on PlayStation, Xbox, or PC and Mac, this will work for you. I do also tend to talk a little fast, so if you need to slow the video down, you can do that down below. And also check out the first pinned comment down below to see if anything's changed or if I missed anything. It'll be in that first pinned comment to help keep you informed. In addition to that, there are time codes down below to skip to different topics that we're going to cover in this video. We're going to cover placing and buying the Cooper, production inputs for the Cooper, using the Cooper, the products that the Cooper makes, the pallet moving aspect of this, and profitability of the Cooper. That's all going to be covered down below. And if you only need certain things or want to skip certain parts, you can easily do that by using those time codes down below. But let's talk about placing and buying. Obviously, I already have one right here, and I don't believe there is one on this map. You can always check on whatever map you're on, but go to the productions, go to available, and you can check in here. There's no Cooper factory in here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go to the bakery. You can click it and then hit visit, or you can find it on the map somewhere, and then you can click it and then hit visit here. But I'm just going to use the bakery as an example because how you buy and sell production points is the same for all of the different types. So we're going to do, if there's one already placed on the map, you're going to find it on the map, then find this little wrench icon, which it should spawn you on top of or pretty close. Come up to it, and then again, up in the upper left-hand corner, my help menu is on. My controls are PC controls because I play on PC, but if you're on a different platform, go into your menu, go down to your settings, go to general settings, and make sure your help window here is turned to on, and you'll be good to go. If you're on PC, you can also toggle that on and off with F1. But I'm going to go ahead and activate buying it, buy building for 150,000. Sure, now I have it. If I want to sell it, I just need to go into the build menu, and then I need to click on the baker right here, and then I can sell it back. Notice you will take a loss on it, so just be aware of that if you buy and sell it. And then if I go up to it, I can also buy it again if I decide I want to change my mind later on. Now let's hop back over to kind of where we were at. We were over here, again, I already had one here. I already have a Cooper placed down, but obviously this map doesn't have one, so we need to place one. We can go into our build mode, go into factories, scroll down until you find it, which it should be right here, and then you can just place it wherever you like to. So I can choose where I want to place it, click it down, and there you go, 300,000 to place it down. And if you want to destroy it, you can click on it and then hit sell. You're not going to take a loss on it if you haven't exited the build menu yet. If I exit the build menu like I just did, and then go back into it to sell it, you can see we're going to take a loss on it, but we'll go ahead and sell that off real quick. And that is pretty much everything in terms of buying and, yeah, whether it's on the map or placing one down and buying it yourself, that's kind of how you do it and how you sell them if you don't want them later. So there you go. Now let's talk about the production inputs for this guy. So for this Cooper factory here, around the backside is where you're going to put your inputs in. We have this nice little dump icon right here. You're going to put your inputs in right here. And again, these doors also can open and close. I'm going to just have open just because it makes it feel more open. But you just want to find that dump icon, and then you want to put your products in. Now, the Cooper factory takes two different types of products. You don't have to put both in. You just need one or the other. So just be aware of that. And we'll talk about the benefits to both later when we talk about profitability. But you can either put regular planks or planks long in. Now, normally you can't lift these guys up in base game. You need to do something to move them around. I'm just going to use super strength to move them around. We're going to talk about pallet moving later on if you need more information about that. If you also want to know how to produce these different types of planks, I'll put a card up on your screen right now that'll take you to my video on the sawmill, and that'll show you how to produce these planks in the sawmill. But all you need to do is get them over top of the production point, the dump point right there, and you can see they're now inside of our Cooper factory. If we walk up to it, down there, bottom, maybe there we go. I had it. There we go. Bottom right hand corner, I can see it has planks long and planks in it. So there you go. Those are the production inputs and how to get them in. Now, the next thing we need to talk about is actually using the production itself, how to run it, all that sort of stuff. So there are a couple of different ways to access the production facility and access the management menu for it. One, you can come up to the production facility and then hit R when you're over top of the wrench, and it'll take you right into the production menu. You also can, if you're not on top of that or somewhere else, you can hit escape. Usually you'll be in this screen right here, and you can just click on it, and then you can hit manage, and it'll take you right in there. It's usually the easiest way to do it. And if you're also coming to the screen here, you can go all the way down until you get to productions. You may be on available, scroll over to owned, and then click on the Cooper. And if you have other factories in here, they'll be listed here as well, but click on the one you want, which is the Cooper in this case, and it'll take you to this production menu. Now, there's a few things we need to talk about in here. So we have a few different products. We make barrels, bathtubs, and buckets. Now, they're in here twice because there's two different recipes for them, and we'll talk about the recipes themselves. So we can either make the barrels out of planks long or planks. Same thing with the bathtubs and same thing with the buckets. That's why you don't need both inputs. You can choose to put one or the other in. Now, if we go up here again, you can hit activate to get it running. The status is currently inactive, but if I start running it, you can say it is now running and starting to use material in here. Now, if you don't have the material available for it and you go ahead and activate it, a little exclamation point will show up here in the upper right hand corner to indicate that there's a problem, and it'll say materials missing under the status if you don't have the materials in or you run out of materials. So just be aware of that. Now, if we go over here to this menu, we can see incoming materials, and we have planks and planks long. You can see how many we have in there. 1,000 liters here, 999 of planks long, so we just used one of the liters there. And then the total capacity, which is 40,000 for planks long and 60,000 for planks. And then what percentage it is full. Same thing for the outgoing products here. We have 60,000 liters, 70,000, 80,000, and 200,000 for the various products here. In addition to getting barrels, bathtubs, and buckets, all of the recipes will also output wood chips as kind of like a byproduct, so just be aware of that. But you can see, obviously, we don't have anything in here, but it works in terms of how the incoming materials work. That's how the outcoming materials are going to be read down here as well. Now, if we go down a little bit further, we've already talked about status. Cycles per month is how many times this recipe is going to happen every month. Cost per month is how much it costs to run this production every month. Now, that does depend on how many days you have the month set to. So if you're running 1 day per month, then this is going to happen every day. If you're running 2 days per month, this is going to happen every 2 days, and so on and so forth. Now, the way the recipe works itself, this is 170 liters of planks long to get you 250 liters of barrels and 60 liters of wood chips. That's how those recipes are going to work. If we go to this one, it's using planks instead, but we're still making barrels. Then we have the bathtubs, and then of course we have the buckets. Now, the last thing I want to talk about while we're in the production menu is the output mode. You can see all of these are set to storing, but you can change that down here. So you have storing, selling, and then distributing. If we go back to storing here, I'm going to talk about that, and then we'll work through the other ones as well. If you have it set to storing, the barrels, for example, are just going to keep building up in here until there's enough to spawn a pallet, a full pallet. Then it'll spawn that full pallet and keep doing that until there's no more space for pallets to spawn, and then it'll fill up the inside of the factory. If you have it set to selling, every hour it's going to sell whatever you have in terms of your barrels, if that was what you had set to selling, and it's going to automatically sell those off, though you are going to take a 20 to 40% hit on what you could get if you sold them yourself instead. And then if we go over to distributing is going to hold on to them in here until there's another factory that you own that is going to take those, and it'll, for free, there's no fee for this, it'll distribute those over to the other factories, so that way it has them for production if there's a factory that has barrels, for example, as an incoming material. Now, in the base game, there is nothing else to do with barrels, bathtubs, or buckets except for sell them, so if you have it set to distributing, it's just going to keep filling them up unless there's some modded production later on that takes them, so just be aware of that. And again, you can notice if I change one of the barrels to distributing or storing or whatever the case is, it changes both of them. Since it's only actually one output, all of those have to be on the same page, so just be aware of that. You can't individually adjust and have one do something if they're from planks long, or one do something else if they're from planks, so just be aware of that. But yeah. Now that we've gotten that taken care of, let's talk about the actual product. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some more planks and planks long in here and fast forward some time, and we're going to get some products made, and then we're going to talk about it. All right, it's just been about 24 hours, and we have some products out here. So you can see we have ourselves our pallets of wood chips, which is unfortunate that they spawn in pallet form, but you should be able to pull up next to them with a trailer and hit R to load into them. And then we also have our bathtubs, which this is a trailer of a pallet of 1,000 liters of bathtub. Another pallet there. We have our barrels, 1,000 liters per pallet of barrels, and buckets, 1,000 liters per pallet of buckets, which is great. And then the wood chips themselves are 1,000 liters each for the pallets. But yeah, now you can move these around. I'm going to talk about moving pallets here. That's going to be the next topic that we're going to talk about here in a second. But I'm going to just have super strength right now, which is why I'm able to move them. But we'll talk about how to move them around and all that sort of stuff. Basically, what you can do with the products is you can sell them off. So if you want to learn how to sell off pallets, I'll put a card up on your screen right now to take you to a video that talks about that in more detail. However, all you're going to do is you're going to go into here, you're going to go to your sell prices. You're going to find, well, we have barrels, bathtubs, and buckets all right there. Just find one of the places that's going to take them over to that place, and they will sell off there, and then you can make some money off them, which is great. That's how it works. Pretty straightforward. And now I'm going to play a little kind of pre-recorded segment that's going to talk about moving pallets, and then we'll talk about profitability. So if you don't need to know how to move pallets, you can skip that, or you can watch it if you want to learn about how to move pallets. But I'll go ahead and play that for you, and then we'll bring you back in to talk about the profitability. To be able to move pallets around in-game, you have to be able to use a pallet fork of some kind on one of these various pieces of equipment, which I'll show you how to do that. Obviously, you can enable super strength if there's a mod out there for that, or if you're on PC and you enable the console commands, then you should be able to activate that. That won't work for console, though. If you do want to learn how to do that on PC, I do have a link to a video down below in the description that will help you enable console commands for your PC game. That way you can just enable super strength. But if you are without super strength or on console, let's talk about the different ways to do this. So first off, we have a tractor with a front loader attachment. We have a front loader. We have a telehandler. a wheel loader, a skid steer, and a forklift. Now, if you're lifting like very large items or like a lot of forestry stuff, like some of the forestry pallets, like in terms of like wood beams and stuff like that, you may want you may want a wheel loader to do it. Otherwise, a wheel loader might be a little overkill for you, but you can find all these in the store. So I'll show you this. You can also check on your farm if you, let's say, well, for example here, one of the starting tractors is this guy on a lot of the maps. So if you go into here, this guy does have the ability to add a front loader attachment. If you see this in the store, you can hit yes, it'll put it in there. Then you want to confirm your customizations down below if you're customizing it at the shop. Otherwise, you can just go in and you can check anyone and you'll see if they have a front loader attachment or not. This one should. There you go, front loader attachment. Make sure you say yes to that. You can either do quickie, hour, or no for those as well. Now, whatever design you decide to go with there, go back out of here, go down to front loaders here, and then pick the correct one. And then you'll see down here there's a horsepower requirement. Whatever horsepower your tractor is, try to get the one closest to your horsepower. You don't want to have this massive one here if it's not going to work for your tractor. You also can go in here, and if I hit... oh, it's not going to be on there. Darn it. Sometimes they'll show up with customizations below to be able to add a front loader. This one actually will do it here because this one has a specific one. But sometimes you'll see that and you can just do that. So if that's available, that's the easiest way to find out what one is designed to go with that. Now, if you're going to buy a front loader, telehandler, wheel loader, or skid steer loader, there's a specific process for that. First, go in here. You can either go in here to look at the dedicated front loaders, dedicated skid steers, dedicated wheel loaders, and then, or excuse me, dedicated telehandlers, dedicated skid steers are down here. And then you need to go to their appropriate category. So for a front loader, you need to go to front loader tools, telehandler tools, wheel loader to wheel loader tools, skid steer to skid steer tools. Then go in that respective category, find the pallet fork and purchase that. And then you can hook it up to the front of your vehicle. So let's say I bought this guy right here and I bought all these different parts separately. Let me just show you how to disconnect them real quick. So if I hit Q, that'll disconnect that. And then I can also disconnect this. So if you want to use it as a regular tractor, you can also disconnect it. But to connect it, just do it in reverse, line it up, get here, and then you'll see a command down at the bottom to connect, and then just drive up here, and then you can connect here. Now, how to operate these up in the upper left-hand corner, usually it's mouse controls if you're on PC. It'll be different controls for you if you are on console. But you can see the advanced controls up there in the upper left-hand corner. If I hold down right mouse button, it shows me what those controls are. Left mouse button shows me what those controls are. So that'll be how you can do your controls. Now, finally, if you wanted to buy a forklift, forklifts are also very easy to buy. They're a dedicated unit for this. So if you go in here, just go under forklifts and choose whichever one you would like to buy there. So there you go. That's how you move pallets around on all platforms. All right, so here is my production profitability chart. It has all the different productions on it. This is linked down below in the description if you wanted to download a copy of it and do whatever you'd like to with it. So it is there. Basically, we have the Cooper down here, so we can talk about how this is going to work. So if we look at the Cooper, first we have the product here, which is going to be barrels for this column right here. And then we have also, of course, wood chips getting produced. And then we have the input item, which is planks long. How many cycles per month? How many planks long we have to put in per cycle? How much you would make if you sold the planks long instead of putting them into this production. Helps us calculate profitability. And then the output, so 250 liters of barrels and 60 liters of wood chips, and those are their values right there. So $800 for the 250 liters of barrels and $34 for the 60 liters of wood chips. And that's the profit per cycle, which that is calculated by taking the sum of these guys right here and subtracting the input cost right there to get the profit per cycle. And then the profit per month is simply the profit per cycle multiplied by how many cycles there are in a month. And then you can see how many planks long you'd have to put in every month to keep it at full capacity, and how many barrels you're going to make and how many wood chips you're going to make every month. So you have all of that through here, and you can see that the biggest thing we want to look at is the profit per cycle, which is going to be best if you're making barrels out of regular planks. You can see these guys are still pretty profitable per cycle, which is great, but this is the most profit per cycle. Even though you're making the most per month off of this, in terms of profit, you're still not making as much per cycle. So over time, with less materials, you'll make more money off of these because you end up using less materials. Even if it takes you longer to make that profit, you're using less material, so it's just a little bit better. But anyhow, that's what we got in here. Now, used values are over here. So down here, I have barrels, bathtubs, and buckets. These are average selling prices on normal economy. So if you normally get like $10,000 for $10,000 per 1,000 liters for this, if you enter a new number in here, it'll reflect it over here. So just be aware of that. This is all dependent on what values are entered in here. So if you wanted to change it, you can easily do that and then get a different calculation if you want to. The final thing in here to talk about is the production info over here, which is the product divided, or is the production facility divided? Some of this is not applicable to some factories, but for the Cooper is unfortunately divided. Now you might ask, well, what in the world does that mean? Well, let's go back into the game and talk about that. If we're right here on the Cooper, all of these guys are running right now. I'm going to turn them all off just for the sake of argument here for a second. So if you have barrels from planks long activated, you would think that this recipe would happen 24 times. Okay, well, let's activate that. Now we know that's happening. Well, what if we also want to make barrels from planks? You'd think, well, that's great. Those are both the most profitable, so why can't we have both those running? Unfortunately, since this is a divided production, now that you have 2 productions running, each production is halved. And what that means is now instead of 24 cycles per month, it's only going to do 12. And this one's also only going to do 12 because it's divided between the 2. Now, let's say you want to also make bathtubs from planks long. Now they're going to be divided by 3. So the cycles per month for bathtubs is normally 60. It's now going to be 20. And these guys are each going to be, instead of 24, it's going to be whatever that is divided by 3. So 8 cycles per month instead of the 24. And then so on and so forth. If I activate a 4th one, these are each divided into 4ths. If I activate a 5th one, into 5ths and 6ths. So just beware of that. That is the only downside, is it is a divided production, so just beware of that. But anyhow, guys, that's what I got for you. If you guys enjoyed, please drop a like down below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button up on the screen to join the Farmer Cop channel and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any future videos I may post. This has been Farmer Cop. Thank you guys for coming and watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.